Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and I have my first 7 days of my December daily album here for you. And I actually worked a tiny bit ahead, only a day, because today's the 6th and I just finished up and I did day 7 today because tomorrow we're just probably just going to stay home and not do too much. So I went ahead and did something special for tomorrow. So I'm starting with day 1, and day 1 is going to be our elf coming because he always comes on December 1st. So I took a little picture of him. He was hanging from our dining room light fixture and had put a little post-it for Kaylin saying look up so that she could see it in the morning when she sat down for breakfast. Of course, she saw him before she saw the note. She practically sniffed him out. So I snapped a picture of him up there, and I'm just going to document that he came. And I sped this up pretty quick because otherwise it was going to be like a half-hour video. And I was like, oh, that's really long. So it's going to go a little fast, but you'll get to see what I'm doing. So I have those little wood veneer alphabets. Those are from Studio Calico from last year's December Daily kit, and I had gone through them and tried to spell out some words, so I knew that I had the letters for our elf, so I wanted to put that on there. And I'm using that little cut apart that says our elf was here. That was also a printable from last year's kit as well. So I'm going to use that for my journaling. And I cut out that little post office thing that I had showed before. I wanted to cut that before I forgot because I definitely want to use that. What else am I doing here? Oh yes, okay, so I'm using that that piece of, that's a 4x6 card, and I didn't really like it that much. I wasn't planning on using it, so I'm going to use that just to kind of ground my 2 cards that are going to go in the 4x6 spot. I'm going to use 2 3x4 cards instead, so I'm just kind of using that. And then I use some red glitter tape in the middle just to kind of cover up that pattern. So I'm putting my number tag on one side, and then on the other side I'm going to do my journaling. And our elf's name is Jake, and this is his 3rd year that he's come to see us, and when we got him, Kaylin was really into Jake and the Neverland Pirates. So since he was a boy, she decided to name him Jake. I'm going to put that stuff up the top there, and then I'm going to put his picture down on the bottom. And I think I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to use to ground the 3x4 picture. And I end up going with some cardstock from my stash. This cardstock is difficult for me to use on projects because it's shiny. So I tend to use it just for things when I know I'm going to end up covering up a lot of it. It's hard to use shiny cardstock. Just the texture of it's kind of strange. So I'm just going to use that and put his picture there. And then I have that tag that came in my November hip kit. And I believe those are by American Crafts. Pretty positive. I just used some red ink to ink around it to help it kind of stand out a little bit. And then when I put the letters down, I realized they kind of blended in a little bit, so I wanted them to stand out more. So I'm going to take them and rub them all over the ink pad as well. So they're going to end up being not perfect red, but a nice muted red, and they stand out a lot better against the picture. And that ink is by Colorbox, and it's called... it's a wine. What's it called? Chianti. There we go. Yummy wine was all I could think of. It's Chianti. And I'm going to use my glossy accents to put it down and rub off ink on my fingers because it's still a little bit wet. And I think I do something else to that tag. Let me see, what else do I do? Put this little traditions here. That is a cut out from an LA Studio cut apart sheet that came in my November kit. I'm going to put a little Project Life gray arrow. And then on the back, I am going to include this letter that Kaylin wrote to him. She wrote that letter, it was before he came. So it was kind of, you know, she was starting to feel like he was going to be coming soon. And so she wanted to write him a letter. And so she did. And she wrote it first in pencil and wanted him to take it back to the North Pole with him. So I asked her if she would go ahead and write it out in marker for me so I could put a copy in my scrapbook, and she did. So I included that. I just cut it in half. She had left a gap, so I just cut it in half so it went across the back of the whole page. Okay, day 2. That is a picture of my girls in their Christmas pajamas that my mother-in-law sent them. So I just backed that on a Christmas countdown card that I know we weren't going to use. So it has like a gray backing to it. And then I'm going to put my tag on this little card here. I'm not 100% sure where all those cards came from, to be honest with you. Came from something. And I use those little basic gray alphabets to spell out PJs. And I'm just going to do my journaling. And I put a little star, chipboard star on there as well. So day 3 is me and Layla, we had Bible study that morning. So Kaylin was at school, Josh was at work, so we went out and had some breakfast, and then we went to Bible study, and I go to my group, and then she has a little Bible class as well. So I just snapped a picture of her at breakfast eating a big muffin. And what I did with the page protectors, was a 4x4, it had 4 3x4 slots. I hope that made sense. And I just cut off 2 of them. I cut off the right side of them because the day 2 and day 3 didn't have a whole lot going on, so I didn't want to struggle to fill it up. So I just cut it up. And now everything fits perfectly. And it adds a little extra, you know, character, I guess you could say. So here I'm prepping day 4 and 5 because this was on day 4, so I wasn't ready to complete it yet. So I just did a couple things that I knew I wanted to do. And it came back, oh, actually this is the same night. I remembered that I had this screen print by Studio Calico, and that came in one of our main scrapbooking kits. I don't remember which one. It was in the past couple months though. It says Make Magic on it. So I'm using some silver acrylic paint, and I'm just rubbing it all over the screen print with this old, it's like a hotel card, and that's what it looks like. And I had put that on the back of, you saw me flip right there, on the back of the that post office thing that I had cut out. So it's just kind of a little extra page. And I am checking off a couple movies we watched. We watched The Grinch tonight, actually. And the girls have watched a couple things on TV as well. So for day 4, we had a couple things go on. Layla had Frozen Day at her daycare. So I snapped a picture of her in her Anna costume because she wanted to wear it. And on the bottom there, Kaylin had a 1st and 2nd grade musical that their school did. So she was in it, and Josh had gotten a good picture of her on stage singing. So I just journaled about that on the bottom. I'm just kind of embellishing it a little bit. And that's a 4x6 card. And then I remembered I wanted to do a different page protector. I thought about it earlier that day. So I'm going through and finding that page protector I wanted to use. And it's a 4 slot as well. Because the back of it is going to be, I'm going to need 4 slots for the back. And for the day, I just put the tag straight into the page protector, and I'm going to sew it shut. So I backed the tags for 4 and 5. I stuck them together back to back, so they're not going to move around in there. So for day 5, I didn't do too much, so I'm using that opportunity to document the Christmas albums that we are listening to this year. And those are Pentatonics, which is my favorite one right now, and Kelly Clarkson's Wrapped in Red, which came out last year, but it's still one of my favorites, and Idina Menzel came out this year, and we're listening to that as well. And Kaylin likes the Pentatonics one because they do a version of Let It Go, so that's her favorite. So for day 6, I'm going to talk about our tree, because we went and bought our tree today, and we brought it home and decorated it and everything. So I'm pulling out a few things from my November hip kit that are tree related. And I'm going to use that page protector. Comes only in the snap albums, the Simple Story snap albums, and it has like a long strip right there. So I'm using that to put in sequins and a wood veneer, and then I used a little die cut of a tree. So it's kind of like a shaker pocket, I guess you could say. And right now I'm sewing it shut, so that's what I did. I didn't bother turning off my camera, but I'm sewing that shut. I'm also sewing shut the top there of that those tags for 4 and 5 so that they don't slip out of my album. And I really like the way that that turned out. It's hard to put things into that size of a pocket. I've done it before and I had to like either sew it shut or tape it shut or something because things keep sliding out of it. It's a little bit awkward, but I really like the way that turned out. And what I did was the wood veneer and with the die cut with the tree is I put a little bit of adhesive on the back. I didn't want him to shake around all over the place and everything end up at the bottom, so it just kind of helped him stay in place a little bit. So I'm using some paper there from Studio Calico, that's from their December kit from last year, and a couple of tree die cuts that I have randomly, not sure where I got those. A couple snowflake punches from Close to My Heart that I got at a party that I went to. Just a few little random die cuts and stuff. And I have pictures of my daughters putting ornaments on the tree. Layla's on top and Kaylin's on the bottom. And on the back, I'm using some more Studio Calico paper, and I'm going to put an actual picture of the tree. That is a Ellie Studio branding strip that has a strip of trees on the bottom. So I put our tree on top, and then I kept the label from, buying the tree. And I'm going to put that on there. And I was just trying to decide if I wanted to include the price or not. Sometimes it's cool to include the price, but I think I wanted more information about the tree versus how much we spent on it. And then I realized I forgot to put the 6 on there for the tag, so I put that there and then just moved that little die cut up top there. And day 7, this is how I work ahead. I'm just going to do my daughter's Santa picture because we did that today as well. So instead of that being also day 6, I'm going to do that for day 7 because we're not expecting to have a whole lot to document tomorrow. We're just going to have a lazy day at home. My husband may put lights up on the house, but that's about it. So this is a picture that we got from the place. It's a 5x7. So I took a Studio Calico 6x8 piece of paper from their kit last year, put some gold glitter tape. I'm trying to think of what to say. And I'm spelling out Santa, and that is going to be it. Put a little arrow there, and that's it for that. So I'll be back real soon with my next round, hopefully another week of my December daily. Thanks, guys.